everybody, I'm Connor, that's Doug, and welcome to the Bethel School District Presents podcast, the longest running school district podcast in the entire southwestern and eastern region of the Puget Sound. We have a fantastic show for you today. We are on location at Spanaway Lake High School. We have a special guest, a senior, Millicent, who is going on special assignment for the podcast and is going to have her very own segment. We're going to get to that in a moment, but first, we're going to start with useless trivia, as we always do. And since we have Millicent here, let's start with you. What is your useless trivia for this week?
I actually thought this one was kind of interesting, even if it's useless. But basically, the elevator shaft, like the outside area of the elevator, was actually invented before the elevator itself was invented. The person who invented the elevator shaft, I believe his name is Peter Cooper. He just predicted and hoped that eventually, if he built the elevator shaft, that at some point someone would build the actual elevator. And then 4 years later, the elevator was built. So he was right. And I think that it's cool because he put a lot of faith in people to just come through on it.
That's such a cool piece of trivia. I did not know that, for one. But I love the just thinking, I'm gonna do my part, and someone's gonna carry the torch forward. I love that. So one thing we do, Millicent, is we ask, because it's very important to cite your sources. I'm sure your teachers tell you. So what's your source for that little bit of trivia?
The first place I saw it was Reddit, and obviously, like, Reddit is not super reliable all the time. So I looked it up on howstuffworks.com. Now I'll pass it to Doug.
That's me. And my piece of useless trivia, again, I'm a little embarrassed. It comes from Cosmopolitan magazine.
Doug, this is getting absolutely ridiculous. I think this is, the fourth time you've used Cosmo?
It is, fourth or fifth. And I'll tell you what, I got like 10 more that I pulled from this article on Cosmo, which was called 167 Random Fun Facts That'll Make You the Hit of Every Party, and making me a star on this podcast, I will say. This piece of useless trivia is that Egypt is not the country with the most pyramids. It's actually Sudan. Egypt has 138 pyramids, which is 135 more than I thought they had. I thought they just had those three. Sudan has between 200 and 250 pyramids. And the fact that they can't nail down the number closer than that means I guess some of these are buried. I didn't really look into it. But yeah, really, really wild. Sudan, the most pyramids in the world.
Do you know how many of those pyramids are, like, still up? Because I didn't even know Sudan had any pyramids at all.
Yeah, I don't. I'm actually looking right now, and I've never been to this website before, IFL Science, but they say there's 220 and 255 pyramids standing. So still standing, I guess, in Sudan. Yeah, really interesting. You'd never hear about Sudanese pyramids. I've heard about the ones in Latin America, and you hear about the ones in Egypt, but this is new information for me, so something to Google later when you're bored.
Okay. Connor, what's your useless fact?
Well, thank you for asking, Millicent. I've also got a geographically based fact, and I didn't know this, and maybe that's my fault for not knowing this, but did y'all know that Alaska is not only the northernmost state, which I think we all probably knew that, it's actually also the westernmost state in the United States, and this is the interesting part, also the easternmost state in the United States. And Millicent, do you know why that is?
No.
Well, I'll tell you. That's because the Aleutian Islands actually cross the 180th meridian, which means part of Alaska is technically in the eastern hemisphere, making it the easternmost state in the country.
Is it the southernmost state, too?
It is not. That's the one area where it's lacking. But besides that, it's got all the other bases covered. So here we are. And my source on that is a map.
A map. That's thin, but I do like this. All facts, really good today, mine included. I really enjoyed them. Millicent, you're here for some serious business, but we always like to start with the trivia. So you are going to be taking the podcast equipment and working on your own podcast segment because you're looking at a career in the communicative arts. And so we're really excited about that and excited to help you with the little part that we can. So what got you interested in communications to start with?
So, for one, I really like writing. Writing has always been, like, my strong suit. In elementary and middle school, I was doing really poorly in math, but you could always count on me to have the best essay. That sounds kind of, like, prideful, but, like, those grades didn't lie, so.
I love that.
And, yeah, I like the idea of being able to, like, use my writing in a meaningful way, like, to help like community and like share information and stuff. I was also I still am really interested in social justice issues, and I like being able to write about things that are important to me. because I want to go into like specifically the journalism field of communications. And I feel like I'm not super interested in like winning an award like the Pulitzer or any of those. I just feel like if something I can write can make someone's day better or like change someone's life in some kind of way, like I don't need an award or anything. Like just like knowing that I made a difference somehow.
That's really cool. And as two English majors who did make their way into journalism in different ways, we love to hear that there are bright, young, ambitious people following in our footsteps. And so you talked that you'd love to be a journalist. How do you think you're going to pursue that? You're going to be graduating later this year. What are your next steps towards that goal?
Hopefully attending WSU or another good journalism college, but that's like the local one here. And obviously local is good because college is expensive. They have two programs I'm deciding between. One of them is broadcast news. So it's like journalism, but specifically catered to like news reporting and news anchoring and that kind of stuff. And then the other one they have is multimedia journalism, which takes that, but then also different forms of journalism like podcasting and like photojournalism and all of those and puts them into one program. So you get to learn different fields and stuff. So I'll probably end up going with that. I've looked at their program and they're actually the best journalism college. They have the best journalism program in Washington. So that's really assuring, and I'm excited for that.
A shout out to everyone at the Edward R. Murrow program. Go Cougs.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for sharing about your future plans. Loved hearing about that, Millicent. And I had a question for you. Just as a future journalist, we are in a very interesting time for writing with the rise of AI and ChatGPT. What are your thoughts on ChatGPT, either as a tool or as a villain in the world of writing?
I think that ChatGPT is definitely like a double-edged sword. Like, I feel like it's hard to say it's 100% bad, but you also can't say it's 100% good. Like, on the negatives, ChatGPT has a negative impact on our environment. It uses up so much water and electricity and stuff just for it to run. And obviously, you shouldn't be using ChatGPT to write your essays or do your artwork for you. Like, that's a given. Like, you should be doing your own work. Guys, stay in school. And
Love it.
But I also feel like if used properly, it can be a helpful tool. Like, if you need a starting point or anything, like if you need ideas to get you started, I think that's good. I think with everything, if you use it properly, it can become a good thing, or if you use it improperly, it can be a bad thing. I think there just has to be a balance. Like, I feel like there might be more negatives than positives to AI as of currently, but if we can get to a point where like we find a balance where we recognize spots or like ways that it shouldn't be used, but ways that it can also be helpful, then we can just find like a good way to integrate it into society where people aren't worrying about their jobs being taken, but also still having access to this tool that has proven to be helpful. So I think it's just, to just summarize it all, just about finding a good balance.
Yeah, that's a great perspective, and I'm really glad that you mentioned the environmental impact, because I think that's part of AI that not a lot of people think about, but it is important, and it should be in the back of their minds. So the reason we have you here, one of the reasons we have you here, is because we're going to turn over our equipment and just let you do your own thing, do your very own segment. You're going to do it from start to finish. You're going to edit it. You're going to do the whole dang thing. So we're excited about that, but could you give our audience a little teaser of what they're going to expect? We know it's going to be about cell phone usage in schools. So tell us a little bit how you envision this going and what you're hoping to find out.
We have a new cell phone policy where basically phones need to be off and away, and they have different levels of like punishments and stuff if you're breaking those rules, obviously. And recently I found out that our school also, like, they did their own vote on it. And while most teachers voted in favor of it, there were actually, I believe, 2 teachers who voted against it. And I thought that was really interesting to see how, like, it's not just the students who are upset about it, because obviously if the students want to have their phones, they're going to be upset about it. So I thought that was interesting, and it would be nice to, like, get both sides on that issue, because obviously cell phones can be a problem in classes. I think everyone knows. You go to class, everyone's on their phone, teachers not happy. But it's a matter of weighing the pros and the cons. So I just thought it would be interesting to look at the teacher's perspective, especially because there's teachers who don't actually agree with the rule.
Yeah, I'm fascinated. I'm very excited to see what you come up with, and you can join us here next week to hear that segment and hear for yourself what these teachers and students have to say.
Yeah, we're definitely looking forward to it. And Millicent, you're tackling a topic on the show we have not covered in the 4 years that we've been doing this podcast. We're really excited to hear how it goes, and we will chat with you again next week. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Well, I don't know about you, Doug, but I am really excited to hear what Millicent has for us next week. But to close out the show, as our loyal listeners know, our district has 2 replacement levies on the ballot coming up in February.
That's right, the Educational Programs and Operations Levy and the Technology Capital Levy. These are replacements of expiring measures. These are not new taxes. And both levies are going to be at the same tax rate that voters approved back in 2022.
And I don't want to be hyperbolic here, Doug, but these levies are massive for us in Bethel. The EP&O levy is 15% of our district's entire budget. So to put that into perspective, that includes more than 400 staff members serving in positions the state either underfunds or doesn't fund at all.
And those are positions like teachers, paraeducators, nurses, counselors, and social workers, just to name a few.
And those are positions that we want here, we need here. I recently spoke to one of our fantastic social workers. Chelsea Rambo's the social worker over at Evergreen Elementary.
School social workers in Bethel work to reduce barriers to learning. We make sure students have everything they need to be supported and feel safe at school, and we connect families to important community resources. A lot of the work we do is to help students regulate emotions. We help students learn about different emotions, how they impact them at home and at school, and we help provide them with strategies to regulate their emotions when they're feeling really big things. If students didn't have these opportunities to learn important skills, they would struggle more in the classrooms and at home. Our social workers and counselors work closely with school staff and families and community partners, also that we can support students.
That is such important work, really good stuff. The EP&O levy also supports our after-school activities. That includes Bethel Recreation, or Bethel Rec. Bethel Rec serves 6,000 students each and every year. EP&O levy also supports our after-school activity buses.
And it supports arts, music, and athletic programs, and that includes teachers and coaches like Lacey Crow. Lacey coaches bowling at Spanaway Lake High School, and she told me that kids who have a strong connection to their school is a huge indicator whether they're going to be successful or not. Whether that reason is a classroom teacher, or school play, or bowling practice, the levy supports all of it.
Our athletic programs here in the Bethel School District provide students a safe, positive place to belong and build confidence, all while working together and having fun. Watching these athletes grow and support each other and celebrate their progress is honestly one of the best parts of my job.
Well, those are the basics of the Educational Programs and Operations Levy. The other replacement levy on the ballot is our Technology Capital Levy. That levy keeps classroom technology up to date, provides iPads for all students, cybersecurity, that is so critical these days, and infrastructure.
And a lot of people don't know this, but our student iPads are actually replaced every 3 or 4 years. And the really cool thing is we work with resellers to get the best value for our old devices, which puts millions of dollars back into our tech levy budget.
Well, if you're new to Bethel, you might be wondering why districts have levies in the first place. Local levies are an essential part of school funding here in Washington state, and that's because state funding is based on an outdated funding formula. All districts in Washington need to employ more teachers and staff than the formula pays for, which is why we need local levies to help supplement the appropriate number of staff and teachers.
Yeah, in fact, more than 100 districts in our state will have EP&O levies on the ballot for renewal next year.
Passing local levies allows us to continue receiving what's called local effort assistance. This is more than $12 million each and every year of additional dollars from the state that we only get when local levies are approved by voters. So if local levies aren't approved, not only do we lose the levy money, we also lose the LEA money as well.
Dear listeners, as you can tell by now, these levies are a massive deal. That's why we're not going to be shutting up about them all the way up to the February 10th special election.
Absolutely. If you want to learn more or find more information and resources that you can share with your friends and neighbors, just visit bethelsd.org/levy.
And that'll do for this week. Next week, Millicent will be back and we'll hear her segment on cell phones in school. Till then, if you like what you heard, smash that like button, people, or comment, subscribe, all of the above. Show up next week, most importantly.